had dated about 6 men in succession, some simultaneously. Within a year, I had a lot of hurt men in my wake. "It's okay," he said, reaching over to squeeze my hands, which were performing multiple ringing motions in my lap. I was mortified, but I managed to survive through to a marriage proposal that came 4 years down the line. When he asked me to marry him, I jumped at it. It was time to settle down. After all, I was turning 30 in a couple months, and the pressure was building. We had the traditional meeting of family, sat down, split cola, after which I spent a few days trying to convince myself that this is what I really wanted. Then I panicked and took the first flight I could find to the Caribbean, turning off my phone and creating a monster of a man who lashed out repeatedly. He talks to me now, though. In St. Martin, I fell in love with an incredible Hulk who swept me off my feet with his rendition of "You Are My African Queen." He treated me like a queen for 10 days. A fine man, he stood tall at 6'2", with about 200 pounds of muscle, and had skin the shade of dark chocolate. In a matter of a fortnight, I had garnered another marriage proposal. I boarded my flight back to the US and signed on to an online dating site. This time in the women seeking women section. 2 marriage proposals later, and still single, there was something else calling for attention. Besides, I had dated a woman before. She and I were each other's first. In college, we had been more like acquaintances than bosom buddies. That is, until my final year, when our friendship blossomed. After grad school, I finally got the guts to kiss her one morning while I was visiting. It was so different from kissing boys. Something inside me responded. When she kissed me back, I knew I had to explore this other side of me. Things changed when she panicked and decided it had been just an experiment. We both returned to men, then got back together, pledged a commitment, after which she cheated, then worried I might find out, left in the middle of the night while we were on vacation. Head over heels with her, I didn't see this coming. She was gorgeous, tall and slender, and had skin crisscrossed with green veins. She was Icelandic. I came out to my mother the day she left me. The eventual demise of this trial and error first lesbian relationship left me brokenhearted for a while. However, it pushed me to explore my sexuality even more broadly. So after Nana Say, after St. Martin, I logged in confidently to an online dating forum, creating a profile that was eye-catching. If I wasn't going to be married at 30, I might as well check out this other side of me. Fast forward to a couple years later. I moved to Portland to do my postdoc, and after a year of not meeting anyone, I decided to go back online. Intrigued by a new possibility, I met Zura. We talked for 12 hours on our first date. We had so much in common. We read to each other in bed, finished lines of poetry for each other. She was a great sous chef, and we used to churn out elaborate African meals together. You see, Zura is African, which was a bonus for my family. My relationship with her is still the longest lesbian relationship I've had in the 10 years since I started dating women. Having her in my life gave me the courage to come out to the rest of my nuclear family. Of course, it's taken more than 4 years for most of them to stop asking me about men and marriage. A year after my breakup with Zura, I decided to visit my mom. I hadn't been home in a while. Mom had visited us in our home twice and had totally fallen in love with Zero. Worried that my mother would chastise me for causing the breakup, I had stayed away for a while. It was Labor Day weekend, and Newark, New Jersey was teeming with African immigrants. My mother, so proud of her daughter with a PhD, had decided to throw me a barbecue in her backyard. A number of immigrants had gathered to join her. Ah, Ajo, are there no African men in Portland? One woman asked. Do you not have time in your postdoc? You must make time move. Another one admonishes. The books, they won't keep you warm at night or take care of you in the old age. Ah, you know you aren't getting any younger. 39. Don't let the white people influence your thinking. Oh. We are very different from them. We are Africans. Sometimes even the men chimed in. Although we are in diaspora, everyone older than you must be addressed as brother, sister, auntie, or uncle, following the traditions of the continent. They feel these titles give them the right to weigh in on your life choices, comment on why you're not married, or why you ought to begin popping out kids. You should at least have one child, says Mom's neighbor, who seems to have now given up on my ever getting married. Ah, don't tell her that, retorts my biological aunt. Turning to me, I will fast for your marriage proposal. Next year, by this time, we will have your engagement, she declares, her multiple rows of midriff fat jiggling. She is probably shuddering at the thought of the fast. I chuckle out loud, forgetting myself and my manners. Oh, you don't want to get married? She asked in my mother tongue, her use of which indicates her displeasure that I am laughing at such a serious matter. I quickly adjust my face, apologize, and answer in the affirmative. Who am I to tell her I am not really interested in marriage? That honestly speaking, I can't bear the thought of living the rest of my life attached to a man. That I love my freedom too much to want to settle down with a husband and have some kids. That I couldn't begin to tell her about all the people I've been with and how they have bequeathed me with a panoramic view of sexuality.